assault, forward, up and running.
Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War 2 with the Scottish campaign. So, I have sort of neglected this campaign a little bit, since I've been doing a lot of Master of Command, but now I am back. So, I have reminded myself what's going on. I'm sure I'll be surprised some way or another anyways. But what I do distinctly remember is that we laid siege to Maryland here, or Annapolis, and the fact that I couldn't conclude the battle because it was gonna draw on a reinforcement army all the way from over here. I'd hoped I could out-resolve it. So the way that I figured I would do this was that I would take this force and attack down here. Now, it is a problem because I lack cavalry for this army. The enemy has just about the same amount of cannons as I do. And all the troops I have are fresh American troops that would easily break under the sustained fire of enemy shelling. With that said, that's still the plan, so let's go ahead and attack. What was the general? Bryce Richmond, yes. So we have 4,200 men, most of which are completely fresh, while the enemy has 5,000, so they have about 1,000 men more. Roughly the same amount of cannons. Now they have cavalry, and then they have veterancy for their troops. The only thing I have on my side is my brain, and hopefully that will be working today. And here we are on the battlefield. We are about 5 minutes in to the battle, and I have not been crushed, because again, the AI has ruined it for themselves. They've dug in the artillery on either flank and advancing their infantry through the center, which means they're advancing without artillery support. Had they not dug in their artillery, they would have been able to bring their artillery down upon us from basically all sides. Now still it's gonna be difficult because I'll have to extend the lines of infantry to the point where part of their artillery will be able to fire at me on either side, but it will be nowhere near as bad as one might have feared. And as it is right now, the are these guys gonna go straight into the cannons? Or what are they going to do? Right, we are breaking some part of their front lines, and for some reason the cavalry decides not to want to join their attack. If I was them, I'd probably ordered my men to go just straight in for a bayonet charge towards the center. One of the main problems for this force I have is, of course, that it's a fresh force with no experience, and we're getting cut up here through our flank. There's a massive group of troops coming in here, which I kind of want to stop. Oh, my units actually doesn't like that. Trying to save my cannons. Will that work? It did work, yeah. Now it's just gonna be that I'm not gonna fire that way with the cannons. Right, we have forced a withdrawal of enemy troops there. Also, there's no point in having a square if they have actually dismounted their troops. Alright, my troops got stuck in here. You are not firing anything. but let's see if I can get these units kind of away and then fire into this, because I want to keep these guys running. Right, keep the enemy off us. Okay, so we were broken, but I did push canister into that unit. Basically forced it away. I'm having 2 units here that is both broken. I was hoping they'd be able to chase those guys away. This unit is standing right in front of the cannons. And now when that unit retreated, I will place an infantry unit in its stead. And we'll open fire. Oh crap, I completely missed the fact that the enemy has kind of broken in on this side. So I'll have to push some extra troops into there. You should... God damn it, now you break as well. The Grenadiers. One of the few Scottish units I have should be moved into that opening instead. Make this into a single line now, and fire at will. Can I get canister that way? Can I get canister that way? Can I get canister that way? Odd angle, but we'll try and do it. Actually, Grenadiers back to here. See if you can support this. 2 cannons now withdrawing. You should withdraw to this line right here. Oh, these guys have... they rallied for a second or two. It's a bloody battle, and it looks like I could win it. Because their cannon's not going to be able to move anywhere, and when I push up what I have left of the infantry up through here, I can just roll it up on either side. We have lost a lot of our troops though. Oh, you have rallied again? You rally right in front of the enemy artillery. Try and make it that way. Very unlikely, but try. And then the problem here is of course that if I decide to move to attack these, I'll march into the range of the enemy artillery, which is not great. Right, they're making square in front of my cannons firing canister. Crazy bastards. And then hopefully we'll be breaking this. You can set up here on the flank. Oh, this unit rallied, and one of my cannons have rallied. Back to the front, back to the front. Imagine the kind of slaughter and the kind of mistake it would have been for me to attack this army had they not locked their artillery in place in the center like that. My army would have turned to dust within seconds. There's like no way. That was a good hit. There's no way my army would have withstood such an attack by the enemy. But now, because the AI is stupid, it has killed its own chance at a victory. I would say at this point it's quite clear that I have in fact won the battle because of the fact that there's so few infantry units left for the enemy. That all I really need to do is just kind of let it play out. So I have won the battle. I just need to get rid of few infantry units that are left. Once they are gone, as we see now, these 2 units retreating, you're about to retreat. This unit is about to retreat as well. Can you guys switch to round shot and hit that guy? And then you can move back to the gun. The units down here can start marching this way. So we can get the attack to start rolling in towards the enemy cannons. You will stand prepared here for this unit, while the artillery focusing on that. I think for the howitzers it's actually better to fire at that unit. And then perhaps I'll just charge down the Marines. I think the Marines might be better in us in terms of accuracy. But yeah, at this point it's quite clear that I've won. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I will declare victory. And here's the result of that battle. So we deployed 4,200 men against 5,200 men, roughly. We lost 1,800 men, while the enemy lost 3,800 men. We remain at a force of 200, or 2,000 men, 2,300, while they have 1,300 men. So, because I didn't have cavalry, I wasn't really able to chase them down. As far as I can see, no important units were lost. No units at all were lost. But as you can see, the losses were really heavy among the Americans, because they broke rank pretty quickly under such withering enemy fire when they had to stand underneath it. Right, who killed the most? Artillery, no surprise there, followed by American troops. 1,300 men, not enough to do anything here, and I'm hoping they retreat far, far away so that they do not longer affect this, which they don't. I still get brought into the fight. Now, it's not super clear favoring me, so I don't like that. So it's the other force here reinforcing these guys. The force up here, which is a bit of a problem. I will take this force, go ahead and replenish it, cost me 8,000. Go ahead and march it back up here. Make sure that we don't lose this province, and then we're just gonna pump up another 6,000 Americans. I guess we'll have to keep the siege as it is then, because I mean, if there's a chance that I actually can sabotage this army, Oh, he actually successful. Does that mean now that they will not be called upon? God damn it. The only time he's actually able to do anything. The good thing though is it's basically the strongest force besides this one. This one has more soldiers, this one has more cannons, more worried about that one. But hopefully that means Philadelphia is safe. Now we have this fight here, which is I've been looking for a an engagement here, a decisive one. While it would be better to attack the city, it's actually better for me to strike this force. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to march in here. They do not intercept. I want to bring a smaller force to lock these guys inside the town, but I don't think I'll be able to, so we'll strike here. Alright, so the Battle of New York, they have 7,000 men to start with under Louis-Alexandre Sully. And then they get reinforced by about 3,000 men, so there's a 10,000 men force, while I have the force of the devil, 6,666. How the crap did I manage to get that exact number for my army? It's heavily favored for the enemy. However, they've got no cannons, so I can sit on my ass, as I usually do, and let them come to me. And with that, let's stroll to battle. We're looking at a very foggy battlefield. Now, I am in luck because I get to defend this high hill with a lot of impassable terrain. The enemy is focusing heavily on the right flank, but the right flank has a very good feature here, where we got this like step terrace, which is impassable on my right. I've anchored with one unit here and then towards the house here, so we got a line of American troops backed up by American reserves, and then behind them I've got the grenadiers in case that is needed, the cannons set to canister, and on the hill behind here I've got the 12-pounder, so it can support with explosive shot. That was a good hit, all the way up to my front line. And on this side I have plenty of American troops to swing into action once the enemy decides that he's going to get that close. They just need to get a little bit closer for me to fire canister. I'm a little bit worried about the canister for this unit, just because while you get a really prominent position there, I feel like you're gonna get canister in the back. So I'm gonna order you back here. I think we should move that to fire on that instead. Right, let's go ahead and see once the enemy actually decides to start the attack. They're taking the sweet old time, and I'm not gonna wait, so I'm gonna order my cannons to fire round shot on the perfectly lined up general units right there. And I'm going to see if I cannot force the enemy into an attack. Why are you guys not responding to my command? I've just ordered you to fire. Oh, it's because... Are you broken because of that? Oh, the cannon is broken. That's lucky that I discovered that before they decided to attack. It's going to be heavy fighting down here, so I'm going to move the grenadiers closer to that side. And it looks as though I've kicked them into action. They are moving on the attack. We've got lots of cavalry coming in here. I am preemptively going to form into square. I'm gonna tell you to actually fire at will. We just had a load of canister being fired down on them. Not super effective, doesn't seem like. Can I spearhead you a bit forward here so that you can start firing? I think we should actually seek a fight with this force. So I will order these troops to march up and meet the enemy. Meanwhile, we started trading a bit of fire here, and we started trading a bit of fire here. Now, the square is holding most of that, so your fire is not needed as of yet. Right, and the fight is about to start here. Oh, here is where he's decided to fire its howitzer shots. Right, get the Americans in lines, we can start firing on the militia. Oh, they can actually march up through there? That's interesting. I'll set the canister to be firing specifically on that target. Meanwhile, this canister will be firing through there. So far, everything's going fine. They're not really pushing hard enough to break through anywhere. It's a little bit of an attack here on the side. I'm going to form you into square just to make sure you hold. These guys have already lost 100 men. Enemy general has decided to come straight through here. Don't know what the plan there is. Certainly nothing good, and that general was more or less wiped out by canister. I'll allow them to fire at will. There goes. That was the enemy general. He rode up through here and then down right in front of this line. We forced one French, the first French regular unit has been forced away. What I'm going to do here is, this is too much of an exposed position, so I will order the unit to try and retreat away from that, especially now that infantry is coming closer here. So I'm going to see about getting them behind cover here, and we'll turn up the units. Clearly, they're bringing in a lot of extra troops that way. I'll move these Americans closer to here, and then I'll bring the... what's it called? The Grenadiers closer to be part of this fight. And then, since you've already been fighting, I'll move you to the back. You have a perfect volley. I don't know what's taking so long for you guys to fire right into this mess. Same with you. Which currently all over. Oh, so we've already killed 2 more generals. Or one more, I should say. I think that was the... They're trying to get up through here. Canister needs to be set that way. I'm a little bit worried that we've not been making that much good headway here. The problem here is that I advanced uphill into this fight, which is not super good, of course. And you are no longer needed there. You can move more towards that side. It sort of erupted into a melee fight here. Which is not necessarily the best of what I want. So I'm going to order these 2 to fall back. I'm going to open fire with the Grenadiers there. I should perhaps take the 3 reserves and do a targeted bayonet attack to try and break through the center there. Right, they're standing right in front of the cannon. I'm gonna order in a bayonet charge just to hold them away from the canister, which didn't work at all. But the charge actually broke the natives, and my charge here got rid of them. Now we'll turn. Actually, we'll turn multiple sides. as we go through there. And I forgot to tell the Grenadiers to open fire. What are you doing on that side of the ridge? Right, let's concentrate these for a counterattack here. After the Grenadiers just massacred that unit. You should hold fire, by the way. There's no point in you shooting yourself asunder. And then clearly this has worked out. But now I want to push harder here. Because I don't have any cavalry though, the problem is that we're not going to see or be able to run down the enemy in the same way that one might have hoped. What happened that? Yeah, you're running away that way. Alright, now when it's back to kind of a firefight, the Americans will march up again because the Grenadiers do not possess the same accuracy as regular line infantry. And unfortunately here we kind of ran into some trouble. But I figure I can push my way through. That's the idea anyways. You should be perfectly lined up there. You should be firing on that unit. And then you should come slightly back. And then one grenadier unit will be extended here to fire down on the cavalry. Well, they've put a cavalry unit right in front of the line. Not entirely sure how that unit has survived. Do I dare try to shoot over the Americans? Perhaps if I move the Grenadiers further up the hill behind them. Right, let's go back to this side. The charges have worked, more or less. Concentrate all of those troops into a charge there. The enemy is now forced away. We'll have all the Americans heading that way to start off with anyways. And then there's a gap opening up in the line here because of the cavalry that kind of broke through here. But that's soon sent away, and I figure I can send these guys off pretty rapidly. Hold fire, and then I figure we can shoot this one down. Or actually, I've got 3 reserve grenadiers. Get rid of them. Right, let's rally somewhat here. I will take 2 units though and get through the woods and set up to attack this unit right here. And then 2 units from this side will march this way to shoot down that one. Unless of course the canister from the hill will get him. And then you don't need to fire. And these units were forced away. Grenadiers dealt with that unit. Oh, the enemy reinforcements turns up somewhere around there. Grenadiers will march back to safety while these cavalry units get shot to pieces. With that, I would say that the battle is basically won, but that we know that there is going to come about 3,000 men of reinforcements, so those need to be dealt with. Oh, there, I think I can see them out there now, perhaps. Or if that was just units that didn't march up with the original attack. Anyways, I would say that it's quite safe to say that I won the battle, and the reinforcements will not have the power to come even close to breaking my force. Right, here they come. The secondary attack is now about to go in. Again, they're going heavy on the right, nothing really on the left this time around. So they won't be able to break through there at all. Now, what I'm kind of noticing here is that they're going like just straight up through here. So I'm gonna get the Americans to come out there. I'm gonna plug this gap with the Grenadiers. We are being able to fire there, so shouldn't wheel these guys too much into that, but I will back this up with more Americans. And the Americans that were sent out here should now march up like that. Like that? Why did I say it like that? Like that. And I've targeted somewhere here in the middle for the howitzer to hit. Now I've specifically told the men to hold fire, so that we will unleash everything more or less at the same time. And as you can see, the enemy is just getting closer and closer and closer without firing much back at us. But now it's time for us to return fire. As soon as I start to see a little bit of break among these guys, I will order a charge. which I think is going to happen up here, which is great, because then these guys can swing out, and there will be no... Actually, we're already seeing a break here. These two going through here, pang, and then just doom, 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 swing up. This Scottish unit comes out here. What are they doing? They're marching right now, right towards this canister. As soon as this gun goes... Actually, before you fire the last one, aim for that. And then you should aim for that. And then that unit's definitely not going to hold. Yeah, we... looks like we got quite the massive break coming on here. And then these two remain firing that way. The Scottish unit will come out behind there, start opening fire. I did notice there was a cavalry unit somewhere out here. There it is. Oh yeah, now when we're charging in, it's probably not a good idea to fire howitzers into that. If I'd been clever enough, I would have probably moved that side into it around as well. As we're going into cavalry here, I'm going to order these guys. A little bit cheating, but I'll order them into square. You should fire there. Yep. You should turn. Fire. And these troops are still kind of stuck in melee, which is not good. I was hoping we'd get more of a thorough crash the enemy. Now that he goes straight into this unit, the Scots will fall on them. This cavalry unit needs to go as soon as possible. Oh, there's so many men running away that I'm not going to be able to chase down. That's annoying. Do I dare risk fire the howitzer here? I'm kind of wanting to fire the howitzer here, but that's too risky. The cavalry unit needs to die so that I can bring these guys into the back of this force and win the fight. And now you have a target. There. There we go. The cavalry broke. Charge into the rear. Same time we win that fight over there. So we bring these guys down. This unit routes in to the oncoming charge. And they all break. And now you break as well. Clearly the canister is not working here. What is going on? Most of it, yeah, it just goes into the hill. Howitzer can fire on the units far out there instead, and then you can switch to round shot and fire on the unit that's far out there, and then I will just order a bunch of my Scottish units to charge them down. I say Scottish units like I'm not playing as Scotland. So perhaps we're looking at quite high casualties. But we were victorious. And with this, there's a lot of flying natives. I figure these should be easy enough to push away. Right. At this point, though, it's quite clear, once again, that the second attack did not work. And I am, in fact, victorious. And here's the result of the fight. We deployed about 6,500 men, while the enemy deployed 10,000 men. We lost 2,500, leaving me with 4,000 men, while the enemy lost 7,700, leaving them with 2,600 men. As far as I can see, I lost no units. Highest kills goes to a 12-pounder, which is no surprise. Canister had its day with 800 kills, followed by 2 Americans with about 500 kills each, and then we've got another artillery, and then Scottish Grenadiers, Scottish Line Infantry turning up there. But the good thing is, or the best thing is, that New York is left to our control. Now, I cannot bring my artillery into the attack, but I'm able to bring enough troops that I can take the city. And we lose 377 men, while the enemy lose their entire force, and with that it also probably killed a lot of that cavalry that ran away. Leaves the cannons out here in the open, which is not great, but not bad either. Gonna go ahead and repair. Not entirely sure that I will be needing that military barracks right away. Actually, we do get specific units here. I mean, it's almost Christmas, so red and green goes pretty good. Looks kind of Russian in a way, with the red and green. But yeah, we get New York Infantry. And that is seemingly the only unit here that is special. Right, so we still -7 due to that, but a lot of that will be fixed once I actually fix the buildings there. Also, I'm bringing in some extra Americans here to make sure that it holds. Gonna burn the churches and all villages are done, so I will burn the estate as well. And we'll turn that into a pottery ceramics factory for the most amount of cash being able to got out of that. Now, seeing as it is right now, the enemy force has really been destroyed. The enemy armies. So we've got one here, but this is kinda remnants of a previous army, and they're about to go into all of this, so there's no way they'll get through there. And then, as I took Williamsburg, they no longer have the opportunity to purchase cannons. And seemingly there's no more French troops coming up this way. So I would say that it's a mop-up operation now of this area. Since we're advancing very slow at this point, I figured that in between this episode and the next, we might do some jumping just to get stuff going. We do still have my plan of allowing these to rebel so I can kill them. And then in terms of what's going to happen here, clearly the AI is probably going to break on attack, hopefully. Or even if they don't, the enemy army here, once they actually take control or whatever here, the entire Bengal army is going to come up right behind them and crush them. And then it's just about taking the time to march out here. So in the east, nothing more important is going to happen. The Italian campaign is over. There's no French army moving here right now. They're probably back here in Paris, dealing with the fact that they're close to revolution. What I should do is I should get my spies in here, and I should hit some of the culture buildings, and we might force them to get into even more problem, as the French will have even more rebellions. Do I have more spies? We have a what's it called? A learned scholar, a scholarly man marching through here. French. Oh yeah, I'm trying to get him back to Scotland. Right, and we do have the Arab armies on its way somewhere. Not entirely sure. So we got a few things going. I won't like jump over anything important, but if there's like minor battles and just being able to consolidate my positions, then that is fine. And we've fought the French so much here that we kind of know what's going. It's just slowly now here tilting in my favor. Actually, what if I demand surrender? They refuse. I was hoping they'd say yes, because in that case this would have been a very easy victory. What I perhaps should do is I should take this army then and strike them here and force them away. Right. We know what's happening. We're slowly but surely winning. It's just about getting it done. And with that said, I now end episode 40, I believe, with what I always say, which is hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.